Yeah, one powerful tool, at least, that helps me a lot to guide my life, kind of, is goal setting. So I like to talk about this a lot because I really believe in it. And I think, but probably this is for another video where I can talk about when you are too focused on goal settings and then you forget about life. But until then, I want to focus on the importance of having goals for your life. And I know I said in a previous video, and I still don't remember who said it, but someone said that if you don't have plans for your life, someone else will do. And that's why plans and goals for me are very similar. I need to have goals, and then I can make plans. I can make plans how to achieve those goals. And then, yeah, the goals, why do we need to have goals? Well, it's a way of kind of guiding ourselves in life, right? What is it that we want out of it? We don't know how many years we have on this planet, on this beautiful planet. So what is it that we want to do as long as we are here, right? That's my question. I always think like when I will be 80 something, 90 years old, and I'll be maybe too old, but no, I will not. I will be still very fit at 80. I will be a very fit 80 years old lady. But when I will be 100, let's say, and not maybe that fit anymore, what I would like to look back at my life and think, I'm glad I did this, and I'm glad I didn't do that. So that's where goals come. And then different people put them in different categories. How I do it is I create my personal goals, and that is goals that are impacting me directly, like my personal life, like myself, my family, my friends, my hobbies, and I make goals for that. Yes, I do make goals for my hobbies, what I want to learn. I don't want to be 100 years old and be sorry that I have never learned, I don't know, how to ride the bike. Maybe it's not the right time to do that when you are 100. I say maybe, right? Because you know what they say never, but sometimes it's a bit too late, or maybe it's not the same fun. So, yeah. So I make goals for my hobbies too. I want to try different things. I want to try to play the piano. I want to try to learn how to play the violin. I am not planning to becoming a very famous violin player, but at least I know that I tried it. Then I have career goals, and those career goals, or some other people calls them professional goals, but I call them career goals. Those are what do I want to do in order for me to get money, because we have to do that too, right? And this is for us getting money to pay for food, for shelter, and take care of our kids. So then those are the things, who do I want to be? How do I want to support my family financially? And how do I want to support the society, right? Because it's also about that a little bit, what I'm passionate about and what I'm good at. And then, of course, financial goals, which I normally put them in the career because those are very much related to your profession and to the choices you make. Are you going to be a business owner, an entrepreneur? Are you going to work? Are you going to be a doctor, an engineer? Are you going to be a nurse? Are you going to be an electrician, a plumber? Are you going to be a salesperson, or the person that works in the supermarket? Doesn't matter the job, as long as you are bringing something, helping the society, contributing and making money to support your lifestyle, to support your personal goals. Everything goes, right? However, I find it that could be very frustrating if you put for yourself, like, I want to be earning every year, let's say $300,000 or euros per year, or 500,000 or 1 million, but then you don't put in the work, because in some jobs you cannot make that much money, right? So it's also like good to have an alignment between your profession and how much money you want to earn. And then of course, why money are important. And I know some people would say don't choose your profession because of how much money you will make, and in some of them, and I agree, I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm also saying that be realistic. Or when you choose your profession, be realistic about your opportunities, your financial opportunities. And then I have other type of goals that I call them contribution. And these are like goals that I make for myself to help others. You can call them contributions, or it could be voluntary work, or it could be donating money, or teaching others something, or taking care of someone. I don't know. It could be many, many different ways of contributing to the society, to give back, in a way. Because I'm a true believer that nobody does anything in this world alone. Like really, really nobody does. We all need someone to help us with something. Even when we go to the store, we put on some shoes, right? You go to the store to buy food. First of all, you put on your shoes. Some people worked to make those shoes. Then you go somewhere to work to get money and to pay for those shoes. And then you start walking, and then you walk on the street, on a road that someone has been working to put that road for you. And then you go to a shop, and so on and so forth, you see? And yeah, unless you live in the wildness all by yourself without using anything handmade, anything created by a human being, then you cannot say that you have done anything alone in this world. Basically, I think the only thing we do alone is like we come into this world like alone. I don't know. There are doctors, they are involved, so I'm not sure about that one. But probably it will be the death. That will be that when we die, then we die alone, kind of. So until then, everybody is using the others. So for me, it's like, what can I give back? Because I am taking advantage in a way, right? Of what other people have been doing to create this society, to work it the way it does. And then the thing is, my question is, what can I do? And then sometimes, for some people, this can easily be done through their work. If you are a doctor, you're already bringing a lot. I mean, basically almost any job you have, you bring something to the society. But I think mostly it's like how you feel about it, right? What do you do the extra? For me, I need to do something extra. So I have my own plans, but it doesn't matter. I'm not talking about today about my plans, but about this framework that I created for myself. It's more like guidelines. So these goals are a bit like guidelines for my own life, right? So I create this list every year. I have a journal or like a notebook that I use only for this. And then every year, the beginning of the year, I write my goals. But before writing them, I do go and read the ones from last year and reflect on them, right? Because you create the goals that you are going to do, but I don't do it only like for 1 year. I can make goals that who I want to become in 3 years, in 5 years, and 10 years, or whatever, right? You decide yourself how much further you want to look. For me personally, I like to not look more than 5 years, because we live in such a dynamic environment and life, and everything changes. So I feel like it's not going to be so relevant if I make plans for the next 10 years. But some people like to do that. So I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm not saying it's right. You just do whatever fits for you. And when I do this, I decide, okay, what is that I want to focus on this year, right? And then I work on that. And then from the big goal, I start creating some steps. What do I need to do in order for me to achieve that goal? And then I write it down. It's important to write it down because then it stays in your brain. You have higher chances of remembering it. And also it's important to read them. So I put them on another piece of paper afterwards. Oh, I got a bit scared. It was some ice. Started to smell, a bit of snow. Yeah, so I take some of the goals that I want to focus on this year. I write them on a piece of paper. I create a plan and I put them on the wall in my office because that's the place where I go every day and I want to make sure that I see it every day. And yeah, that's how I do it. And then at the end of the year or whenever you decide to do that, I do that in December. I look through it and see what I've done and what I didn't. Well, full disclosure, I look at my goals every 3 months, if I have to be honest completely. I do it in quarters, so I do Q1, Q2, Q3 and Q4. So I have the goals for the entire year and then I split them. And I say what I'm going to focus on the next 3 months or what I'm going to focus afterwards and so on and so forth. And then sometimes my goals change also throughout this period of 12 months. So imagine in 10 years how many things I would like to. But it's interesting for me to go at the end of the year and read through my journal, my goal setting journal, let's call it like that, and see what I wanted and what I considered it was important, let's say in the beginning of 2024 and at the end of 2024. Some of the things that I wanted, they were not so relevant. I didn't really want it because, again, it's about taking action. I tried them and I realized that, yeah, it wasn't really for me. And then I go to 2025, and in 2025, I take with me some of the goals that I had already in 2024, but then I add or adapt them to the new ones. And then, again, by the end of 2025, I look again at the goals. I say, okay, these are more important, still relevant. These are not relevant anymore. And then now in 2026, I have a new updated list. So basically, I'm updating the list, but I do it every year, like the big general one, but I also do it every 3 months. I look, because I try to keep accountability for myself, and I take it seriously. And maybe at some point I take it too seriously and I can stress myself out a little bit, but I'm working on it now and I've become better at relaxing, or like my son says, chillaxing. So I'm trying to be more chillaxed. It's so weird to say that word, but it kind of makes sense. Yeah, and then when I do that, I feel like I have control of my life. I feel like I have more clarity and I know what I want to try. So that's the thing. Instead of saying all the time, I know exactly what I want to do, I'm saying, I know exactly what I want to try. And sometimes that's okay. You don't have to have everything figured out from the beginning, and you don't have to have everything figured out all the time. It's okay to have some of the things figured out and some of the things ready to try. I think I've been talking too much about goal settings, but I think it's important. Oh, there was another thing I forgot to mention. Although I kind of talked about it, it's about setting deadlines. And I remembered a quote, and this time I remember who said it. I think it was it was Tony Robbins, and he said something like that goes like a dream without a plan, or a dream without a deadline is just a wish, or something like that. So yeah, he was talking about dream lives, that to create your dream life, what you want to be, what you want to do, who do you want to be with and stuff like that, but also to have a deadline. Because if we don't put deadlines, then we never get started. And if you have husbands, you know what I'm talking about, right? You ask them to help you with something, and then they never do, right? Because we don't give them a deadline. Yep. That's enough for today about goals.